Hello, folks. I've got a good show for you today. I've decided to talk about the number one question that is asked in the shrimp community. You can find these questions asked on the Facebook groups as well as on shrimp forums and fish groups. What is a good fish that I can keep with my dwarf shrimp? What is a good fish that is shrimp safe? I myself, before I started keeping shrimp, I had the same questions. Some of the answers that are given actually kind of make me cringe, and I'm going to talk about those and set you straight. Now, before we begin, one rule of thumb that I would like for you to remember is if a shrimp is big enough to fit in a fish's mouth, then that fish is going to eat it. Seriously, this is the number one thing that I want you to keep in mind, that no fish is absolutely perfect with shrimp. But there are some steps that you can take, and there are definitely some better fish selections than others, and we are going to talk about those. Before I get more in depth in the video, I hope that you give me a like. This doesn't cost you anything. I would love for you to subscribe if you're new here, and please hit the bell notification for upcoming videos. With this, let's go down and talk about what I recommend to be good fish to keep with shrimp. And then I am also going to recommend the fish that you may want to consider avoiding with shrimp. Okay, folks, I figured I would open this conversation up with my 29-gallon community aquarium tank. Are shrimp safe with community tanks, with peaceful fish in a community tanks? Folks, to be honest with you, I have some shrimp in here, some coal shrimp, but I do not recommend keeping shrimp in a community tank setting. Your fish will definitely snack on the babies, and they will snack on the juvenile shrimp as well. Some fish in here look totally harmless, but I do know for a fact that they can definitely pick away at your shrimp. Let's take a look at what's in here. There is a peacock gudgeon right there. Peacock gudgeons, well, they are pretty much predatory meat-eating fish. They definitely won't mind snacking on your shrimp. Let's take a look at the tetras, the rummy-nose tetras that are in here. They're up to 2 inches. Remember the general rule, if it'll fit in a fish's mouth, they will eat it. And so, yeah, these fish can definitely pick off some shrimp as well. Platies. Platies are not very small. Their mouths are not really big, but they're not small as well. I do not recommend keeping them with shrimp. Cory cats will definitely pick off some of the babies. Pandagoras. Pandagoras, I would say, are relatively shrimp safe. I have seen them around shrimp. They usually don't care one way or the other about shrimp. They are mainly feeding off of algae and microfauna, so they are usually generally safe around shrimp. Other than that, I also have some, I'm not showing them right now in view, but I have some sparkling gouramis. Sparkling gouramis are not shrimp safe. I made the mistake of putting some shrimp in a tank with some sparkling gouramis, thinking that that shrimp would be okay with them. And this was actually a pretty good sized juvenile shrimp. And the sparkling gourami just grabbed it and munched away on it like nothing. So those fish, for little fish, they actually are pretty aggressive and they've got big mouths. And they can definitely pick off shrimp. So, with that said, in most cases, in most community tanks, it's not going to be a good tank setup for your dwarf shrimp. All right, folks. So I've got Betta White's tank here. Where is Betta White at? What is Betta White up to? I would like to show him. Well, regardless, let's talk about bettas. Are bettas safe with shrimp? Well, yes, bettas are safe with shrimp, but are shrimp safe with bettas? Well, down here, we're taking a look, and I do have some orange really shrimp. These are actually some coal orange really shrimp. I also have some Amano shrimp in here. And so I'm going to ask that question, are bettas really safe with shrimp? Here's Betta White. Okay, so a lot of the folks on Facebook, in the forums say, oh, my betta is perfectly safe with shrimp. He kisses them on the forehead. He tucks them in at night. He prays with them. Oh, they are just the wonderful companions to go with shrimp. Okay, I'm exaggerating to make a point, but let me tell you something, folks. My betta is a killer. He's killed fish, and he definitely chases after the shrimp. Sure, it is definitely depending on the betta's personality and temperament. But let me tell you this, folks. Even if you do not see a betta eating adult shrimp, he will be picking off the babies. So you're not going to get good colony growth with a betta. So shrimp are not safe with bettas. And aside from that, folks, another bad reason for keeping shrimp with bettas, or another bad thing, whatever you want to call it, they are from two different parameters, temperature-wise. Bettas prefer temperatures anywhere between 78 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas shrimp prefer temperatures around 70 to 75. 72 is at best. Can shrimp make it in warmer temperatures? Yes, but you do risk speeding up their life cycle. So, again, shrimp are not the best tank mates with bettas. Okay, folks, so what about guppies? Are guppy shrimp safe? Can you keep guppies with shrimp? I have some yellow shrimp in here, Neocaridina davidii yellow shrimp in this tank, and I do not have a good colony growth from this shrimp, and the reason why is because the guppies are not a good mix for shrimp. You can have all the hiding places in the world for shrimp, but guppies, they eat a lot. They are always on the hunt. They are vicious hunters, and they will eat all the fry. You have to have lots of hiding spots just to get a little bit of fry to survive in here, and therefore I cannot recommend guppies with shrimp. They are beautiful. It doesn't seem like they would cause much harm to a shrimp population, but yet they will. And also, another tip is just about any kind of food that you put in here for the shrimp, the guppies are going to devour that as well. Again, cannot recommend guppies being a good tank mate for shrimp. What about Maltese? Are Maltese shrimp safe? They look so cute and so innocent. Well, folks, they are absolutely innocent. They will innocently devour every little shrimp that you put in here. Definitely not shrimp safe. No, shell dwellers are shrimp safe. Don't even think about it. Alright, folks, here's my next tank that we're going to talk about today. Of course, I've shown you this tank plenty of times. This is my 29-gallon tank. I use it for breeding Endlers, these LT Gray Endlers, and I'm also using it for breeding Bristlenose Plecos. Let me ask you this. Are shrimp safe with Bristlenose Plecos? And are they safe with Endlers? Alright, so let's take a look in the tank here. In this corner, we got some red cherry shrimp right there. Here's another shrimp hanging out on this sword plant here. We got some other shrimp here in the back. I cannot seem to get them in focus. I've got some other shrimp here. To ask you or to tell you if shrimp are safe with plecos and Endlers, I will say yes, they are moderately safe with these fish. Now, when it comes to Plecostophus, they are not safe with all Plecostophus. They are safe with Ancistrus bristlenose plecos. Some Plecostophus are more meat eaters and they will definitely gobble up shrimp. But Ancistrus bristlenose plecos are very safe with shrimp. They have about the same diet, so they go really good together. Endlers. Endlers, I would say, are moderately safe with shrimp. And what do I mean by moderately safe? Yes, they will definitely pick off some babies. So if you're thinking about putting together shrimp and endlers in an open tank without no coverage, they are definitely going to pick off all of the baby shrimp. So what you want to do is have lots of hiding places, like lots of plants for the shrimp to go into and hide. They can go into these leaves and hide in there. In the crevices of the cholla wood, they're safe to hide in there. So with that said, they are actually reasonably safe with the endlers. Now, the endlers, another good thing about the endlers is because they are smaller than guppies, they will try, like I said, they'll try to pick off the baby shrimp, but they are not going to try to pick off some of your older juvenile shrimp and the adult shrimp. So that is why they are relatively safe with shrimp. So this tank actually does extremely well, and the shrimp colony is slowly growing back to where it should. Okay, folks, let's talk about another tank here. I haven't shown this one too much. I know there's a little bit of glare. Excuse me for that. So, what do I have in this tank? In here you will find Celestial Pearl Danios, aka Galaxy Raspberries. And you will also find in here some Erythromicrons, which are also known as Dwarf Emerald Raspberries. These fish are small Danios, and as you can see, I have orange Rilly shrimp in this tank. So I've got some shrimp down here in the substrate. I've got shrimp that are up here grazing in the floating plants, which is red root floater. A lot of red root floater. I've really got to thin this stuff out. And what else have I got in this tank? Besides the shrimp and others that I've mentioned, I also have some chili raspberries. And I also have a large mystery snail that is in the background. Actually, I've got a few large mystery snails in here. There's another one right there. And right there is a hill stream loach. So, are shrimp safe with all of these inhabitants? They are, with all of the fish I mentioned, moderately safe. Again, what I mean by moderately safe is you will have to provide places for the shrimplets to hide. But other than that, the fish in here are tiny. The chili raspberries are smaller than some of my larger adult shrimp. So they all have really small mouths. So they might, yes, go after the tiniest of fry. But if you provide good coverage, lots of plants and stuff for the fry to go to, they are not going to decimate your shrimp colony. Hillstream loaches, they're pretty much algae feeders, biofilm feeders. They're not really going to do any harm to shrimp. And mystery snails, well, let me tell you something about mystery snails, folks. If you just have a dedicated shrimp tank, shrimp alone, my suggestion is to put a mystery snail or two in your aquarium. For one thing, they're really good about keeping the biofilm, I'm sorry, not the biofilm, the algae down and stuff. But another importance about having mystery snails, or if not mystery snails, some nerite snails, some other good importance about having snails in the tank with the shrimp is shrimp have very little to no bioload whatsoever. So if you have shrimp into a tank by themselves, their cycle can actually crash. And so by putting in mystery snails, which actually do have some bioload to them, they are going to generate some waste. And this waste is going to keep the bacteria in the tank going, which will not cause crashes with your cycle. So this is something that you definitely want to keep in mind if you do have just a dedicated shrimp tank. So this tank is set up well for raising and growing my orange relay shrimp. And of course, I'm not really the best at culling these shrimp. So you're looking at a red relay shrimp because they tend to sometimes put off a red here and there. So I have talked about some fish that I think would be good with shrimp and that have worked for me. And I have also told you some fish that I think you should avoid keeping as tank mates with shrimp. Uh, so with that, I've got a few other choices that I would like to talk about. These are fish that I do not have, but I think they would be worth trying. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, and Alexander Williamson with The Secret History Living Inside Your Aquarium talks about rocket killifish, or they're also known as clown killifish, being good with shrimp. Yes, I believe they would be because they are very small fish, for one thing, and they also have very tiny mouths. So the only thing they could eat is maybe the tiniest to fry. So those would be a very good choice with shrimp. Another one would be panda loaches. Panda loaches only get about 3 inches. It's another biofilm algae eating fish. This would be a great fish to keep with shrimp. And also your little Siphodon or Siphodon gobies or the rainbow gobies. They get about 3 inches. They are also biofilm and algae eating fish as well. Those fish I would say would do really well with dwarf shrimp. Tetras. Most tetras I would say avoid with shrimp. Most of them get about 2 inches or larger, and some of them are even very aggressive. So I would say keep them away from shrimp, with the exception of a few. One of them, instead of the cardinal tetra gets about 2 inches. Go with your standard neon tetras. Those only get about 1 inch in length, and they have smaller mouths, and because they're smaller fish, they may do better with shrimp. I haven't tried those, but I think that would be a good choice. Another one would be the green neon tetra. Those also get about the same size as the regular neon tetra, but they kind of have a green glow to them. Another one I would say would be the diamond tetra, or I'm sorry, the diamond head tetra. They look about like the regular neon tetras, but their eyes are real sparkly, and it's almost like they glow. They are also on the smaller side, and I have a feeling those two would be great with shrimp. Some of them, another good choices, white cloud minnows or small fish. Those would do really well with shrimp. They're also a cool water fish as well. So that makes it really good to go with shrimp as well. So those are some good choices. Uh, Folks, that is pretty much my show for you. I've talked about some good selections that you can try with your shrimp, and I've talked about fish to avoid. Um, there are, again, are very, very, very few fish that are shrimp safe. And again, even with the ones I have recommended, make sure you do your part by adding lots of plants, lots of places for your little shrimplets to hide, because they are going to need it if you have any kind of fish in the tank with them. Uh, in the comments below, I would like for you to mention what fish that you have kept with shrimp, what was your success, and what fish did not work out so well with shrimp. With that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'd love to hear from you. Goodbye.